Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. April 8, 2019, the Changing Your Spots edition. First up, an article from the Wall Street Journal that President Trump's pick to be the next Deputy Attorney General has a very big Senate hearing this week. This is a person who's never worked in the Justice Department, and with the challenges faced by the Justice Department in the brouhaha over the Mueller report that the DOJ has refused to release, and a number of other policies, it's likely to be quite a hearing for Jeffrey Rosen. He's currently number 2 at the Transportation Department. His hearing will be on Wednesday. Next up, the sad and sordid story of bribery and corruption in cricket continues as the BBC reports that former Sri Lankan all-rounder Dilhara Lukaheti has been charged with 3 breaches of the International Cricket's anti-corruption code. They relate to some play he had in the United Arab Emirates last year. He was charged with being a party to or trying to fix a match and directly and indirectly soliciting players to breach code and failing to disclose such approaches or invocations to engage in corrupt conduct. Next up, an article from the Washington Post on the continuing woes of Boeing as investigations mount as the company attempts to push forward with additional software fixes. The fallout has continued. The acting Federal Aviation Administrator, Daniel Elwell, of course, Trump has never actually nominated someone until this scandal broke to run the FAA, so that's clearly a big problem. But he has responded to Chairman Roger Wicker of the Senate Commerce Committee about questions on the qualifications of the certification for Boeing. So this is going to heat up and certainly put more pressure on Boeing going forward. The final story for this Monday is Equifax. And here we have the new boss of Equifax, Mark Begor, or Begor, sorry for that pronunciation, had his credit stolen, and he found on his Equifax record certain purchases of items that were not his. And he went through to try to set the record straight with Equifax, and in doing so, he found out how difficult it is. Well, he's now the new CEO of Equifax, and he has determined that he's going to try to make this process easier and make the company more customer-friendly. Certainly in the wake of what was then the largest data breach, Equifax's abysmal response to the data breach, the insider trading that resulted because of the data breach and criminal convictions around it, Equifax could certainly use a new public. Well, Michigan State played its worst game of the year and lost to a well-deserved Texas Tech team. Virginia won on some very questionable calls, so Monday's national championship game is set. This is Tom Fox. If you have any ideas for the Daily Compliance News, please feel free to email me at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. I'd love to hear from you. As you may know, we've had several new offerings on the Compliance Podcast Network. One of those includes Popcorn and Compliance, where Jay Rosen and I take a look at compliance through the lens of movies, both current, contemporary movies, and classic movies. Also premiering in December. And finally, Mary Shirley and Lisa Fine have premiered their new podcast, Great Women on Compliance. I hope you will check that out. It's a great podcast series. We have several other offerings that are in production that will go live hopefully in Q1 of 2019. I hope you will check back to see the offerings on this Compliance Podcast Network.